everybody. Today's Friday, and for Science Day, our goal is that we can summarize an informational text. We're going to be learning more about weathering and erosion, but today we're going to be reading a passage about weathering and erosion. So, yesterday we did some experiments to learn about weathering and erosion. Um, what are some strategies that we have learned so far for summarizing this year? We've done the somebody wanted but so then strategy, the five W's and the H. But when we're summarizing an informational text, we can't use the somebody wanted but so then. We can't use this strategy because there's no characters in an informational text. We're learning more about a topic. There's topic sentences. It's based on a true text. So today we're going to be focusing on using the five W's and the H strategy. Um, Remember, whenever we're using this strategy, we're going to be answering these questions. Who or what is the article about? What about it? Where does it happen? When does it happen? Why does it happen? And how does it happen? We can answer these questions to help us summarize an article. So let's look at an example today. I'm going to read this article about weathering, and then I'm going to answer these questions as I read. You all, whenever I'm finished, will be answering questions about erosion. You'll be summarizing this article by answering these questions. So, weathering is a process where rock is worn away or broken down into smaller and smaller pieces. Think of a hammer. When you hear the word weathering, a hammer can shatter or break many things with the right force. Rain and wind act like a hammer on Earth's surface, which causes weathering. Already, I know that my article is going to be about weathering. And what about weathering? I'm going to add a sticky note actually to answer this question. Weathering, so what about it? Weathering breaks down rocks using wind and water. And then I'm going to move that here. Where does it happen? Now I need to find out, where does weathering happen? There are different kinds of weathering. Chemical weathering decomposes or decays rocks and minerals. An example of chemical weathering is acid rain dissolving limestone. Physical weathering physically breaks up rock. One example is when water seeps into rock cracks and freezes. The water expands, and over time, the rock breaks into smaller pieces. Another example is when wind blows sand against rock. The sand wears the rock away. Ocean waves can also cause physical weathering when waves crash into the rock. Biological weathering happens when plants break up rocks with their growing roots. Once rock has been weakened and broken up by weathering, it is ready for erosion. So, where does it happen? It can happen anywhere where anywhere there is rock that can be changed by the rain and wind. I'm going to move that sticky note here. When does it happen? It happens when rain or water. So I can use one of these examples if I want to. I can use an example of I'm going to do when water seeps into rocks and freezes and breaks it into little pieces. It happens when water seeps into rocks and freezes. It breaks it into tiny pieces. Breaks rock into tiny pieces. That was one example. I can use any example, or I could just say when rain or water changes rock. Why does it happen? So it happens because the rain or water, it happens because the rain, water, and wind break the rock into smaller pieces. And how does it happen? Basically answering the same thing. So all of my questions have about the same answer. So if I'm going to type my summary, I'm going to say weathering is where rocks are broken down by the rain, wind, or plants. There are three types of weathering: chemical, physical, and biological. Once the rock is broken into smaller pieces, it is ready for erosion. So I just summarized this article into 3 sentences. I wrote all of the main points, but I didn't rewrite the article. I used these questions to help me develop my summary. Today, you all are going to be doing the same thing. You're going to be answering these questions, seeing how, if they're repeated, if some of the answers are repeated, and how can you put this article in your own words to have all of the important parts. If you have questions or need help, please hop on Zoom.